Joel, will Ohio State continue to be at the top of the Big Ten food chain this year?
Well, and this is not just a Big Ten problem, Rob, but this is a problem, if you want to call it that, throughout college football. And that's the fact that the teams at the top of each conference have really separated themselves out, first through recruiting and then performance on the field. We've seen now Ohio State with 4 straight Big Ten titles, Oklahoma with 6 straight Big 12 titles. Alabama has dominated, obviously, the entire country, 6 out of 12 national championships. Clemson has won the ACC, it seems like, 5, 6, 7 years in a row. So this is going on all over, and it speaks to kind of the separation of the haves and the have-nots in our sport. Yes, absolutely. Ohio State is the class of the Big Ten, and they have been for the last few years by a wide margin. If you look at the composite rankings of just number of stars, right, star power in terms of recruiting, Ohio State has basically all of the 5-star players in the entire Big Ten, and they're concentrated on that roster. They have their coach. Obviously, they're going to have to replace their quarterback, but that roster is too deep at almost every single position, guys, with someone that could start almost anywhere else in the Big Ten. They are loaded, and if they get any source of quarterback play out of one of these young guys, they're going to be the class of the Big Ten.
To Joel's point, when you get the highest ranked quarterback out of his junior year, all right, because he decides, you know what, I'm going to opt out of high school because I've got a great future, and he already knows before he gets to Columbus, he's not even in the picture to get the quarterbacking position. That should tell you something about how stockpiled Ryan Day's football team really is, Rob. There's no question that the Buckeyes are the top of the lot, and scarily so, really, in the Big Ten. It's up to everybody else, really, to step up now. And I don't mean in terms of their records at the end of the year. We can look at records at the end of the season and still know that even though you may have lost 1 or 2 Big Ten games, you still weren't close when you had your chance against the Buckeyes. Ohio State, by far and away, is not only the best team in the league, but is continually going to be one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country. So that should tell you about just how much distance Joel's talking about.
Right. And I think we all agree there's a huge gap, Bruce. But normally when you're replacing an absolute elite quarterback and you have a real question mark at quarterback, champagne problem question marks at quarterback, mind you, there would be some concern. The secondary was an issue last year for sure. Trey Sermon is gone. There's a lot of holes to fill in Columbus. So why do you think there's still this optimism, Bruce?
A couple of things. So I'll start, you talked about where Joel's referencing the 5-star guys. One of the best kept secrets in college football is the job Brian Hartline, former Ohio State receiver, who has done their stocking and developing that receiver room. So we know about Chris Olave, we know about Garrett Wilson. Now there's Marvin Harrison Jr. there, Jackson Smith and Jigba. These are guys who I think whoever wins that job, whether it's CJ Stroud, whoever becomes a starting quarterback, is going to inherit the best group of receivers in the country. And I think the culture of that receiver room, remember a few years ago, it was Paris Campbell, it was Terry McLaurin, it was Johnny Dixon. It was a very mature group. And I feel like that culture has really done a lot to set the tempo for this team. So you have that side of it. I also think one big positive, for as much as they lost on defense, especially in the middle of the defense, they weren't really special relative to what Ohio State usually is at edge rusher. Now they got Jack Sawyer. They've really upgraded the talent level in Larry Johnson's room again. And I think they could be really nasty up front. They were good last year. I think they can be really, really good because of the buzz around some of these young edge rushers they've got there.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.